So, yeah, the Fever have done it again. The Fever have done it again. You know how in the first series of Pokemon, where Ash didn't like Charizard, but when things were really going to shit, he would always say, Charizard, I choose you. And Charizard would, save his ass. That seems like the way the Fever have been with Caitlin Clark. With what do you want to tell the fans before game 2? Nothing has been... Caitlin Clark's barely been shown. Caitlin Clark's barely been shown for a while. And this is what she said.
First playoff game since 2016. I need to see every single person in Indianapolis, whether you're inside the arena, be outside the arena, I don't care. Show up. Get loud for my teammates. We need to get a dub, and we're taking back to Atlanta. Let's go!
All I'm going to say is it's not really being inside or outside the arena. It's like $9.68 to get into this game. It is $9.68 to get into this game. It's $9. This is the cheapest it's been to get into an Indiana Fever game all year. This is actually the cheapest it's been. Look, I still think it's going to be nearly a sellout because I'm sorry, if I lived anywhere near Indiana, if it was 10 quid, I'd go to the game. I'd go to the game. I'd absolutely go to the game. I don't care. I'll pay $10. It's cheaper to be in the arena watching the game than it is to sit at home. Probably more expensive than it would cost to go to to pay for one game on Fever Direct, I'd say, if that's a thing. But I'm looking at SeatGeek right now, and the tickets are, if you're looking at one ticket, you can get tickets in the bleachers for $12, including fees. You can get courtside seats for $200. It is $200 to go sit courtside. Second row courtside behind the basket is $200. 1 to 3 tickets. It is $200 to sit courtside this game. This is, in fact, the cheapest. It is cheaper to go to this Fever game. This is the cheapest it's been to get into the Fever all year. Why? Why is it the cheapest? Because, well, you see, these tickets went on sale after the Indiana Fever announced Caitlin Clark was going to be injured for the season. I mean, I don't think that they were, not letting Caitlin Clark stay or not ruling her out to sell tickets, but I think it was a happy accident. Because as you can see, as soon as Caitlin's ruled out, Caitlin out of nowhere is all of a sudden like she's like the tickets are down through the floor. You can get into this game for less than the cost of I don't know. You can get into this game for less than the cost of a spicy chicken sandwich meal in Chick-fil-A. I was going to say Big Mac, but I don't know how expensive Big Macs are. Actually, you know what? Maybe not. Not in Indiana. I don't know. What price is Indiana? I know it's one thing, like in New York, it would be that expensive. But I don't know. It's such a weird thing seeing, the price of Big Macs change so much depending on the city in America. Like in Ireland, it costs the same whether you're in Dublin or whether you're in Cashel or whether you're in Longford. It costs the same whether you're in... Heck, maybe even that McDonald's in Cashel that everyone stops on the way from Dublin to Cork. Maybe that could be more expensive. That could be more expensive in Dublin for all we know. Like, heck, even Burger King in the airport isn't that expensive. Whereas in stateside, I remember it being like $17 for Chick-fil-A meal in New York, and I went to Minneapolis and it was like $8. But yeah, anyway, the tickets are low. The ticket costs are low. What do you want to tell Fever? Caitlin Wu, get loud. Tash Wu, get loud. Kelsey, I'd like to respectfully request that all fans get loud. Ticket sales must be low. Yeah, they're extremely low. They sell out regular season first playoff home game. I doubt it won't sell out. Wonder how many celebrities will be there. It is 200. So yeah, he's slow. Per SeatGeek, only 155 left. It's mostly resellers. It is $200 to get courtside. It is $200 to get to courtside here. And look, like, I don't think I don't think there's anything malicious. There was anything malicious being done here, but this is cheaper than it was getting to any other Fever game. Do you know what? This was actually cheaper than the get-in price for Minnesota versus... Like, I understand it was the WNBA Finals last year. Minnesota versus... versus the Liberty. But, like, a random-ass regular season game with Caitlin Clark playing is more expensive than going to that game. A random game with Caitlin Clark playing is going to be more expensive. However, now we're at a situation where the first playoff home game since 2016 is $10 to get in. It is $10, which is... Look, that is kind of concerning. That would be kind of concerning if you are the Indiana Fever, because, look, it is what it is. You're in a situation where I know the viewership's always going to be high for Fever games, but you're seeing it more and more now. The viewership in Fever games is getting lower. It is getting lower because the hope is gone that Caitlin Clark comes back. And I understand there's a lot of Fever fans that have stayed. The Fever are still the most supported team without Caitlin Clark. Heck, I still watch the games. I've still streamed games. I'm going to be live at 1:30 in the morning in the time right here to be live for game 2. Thankfully, where I'm staying right now, there is nobody above me and nobody to that side of me in the wall. So I can actually, not try to be super duper quiet. And I got a seat, I got a chair that I can actually kind of lean back on instead of trying to lean forward and being uncomfortable. So I can actually do a proper reaction to that game. I think it's interesting. I'm going to stick around, but it's clear that people haven't, because a random regular season game with Caitlin Clark, the get-in price is like $50, $60. The get-in price for this game is $10. It's $10. It is $10. Like, you couldn't feed yourself for couldn't get not even a meal. You couldn't get a starter in a bad restaurant for $10. You could barely get a meal in one of the cheaper countries in the world for $10, and that's a complete lie. That is a complete lie. I was in the Philippines. It's a complete lie. But still, like, it's cheaper to be in the arena watching that game than it is to be in a pub watching the game on TV. Crazy. Positive sign, if you're in Indiana, real positive sign that you're going to be able to go to the game for cheap if you didn't know. But negative sign in general is that the tickets prices don't really matter that much. If you're a fan and you get in cheaper for free, great, go for it. But in terms of the overall relevancy of this team without Caitlin Clark, it's dropping big time. But anyway, I'll see you guys.